Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to the 10 most disturbing cults that are still active. So, I can't think of why you'd want to be a member of a cult. I guess the only kind of explanation is, or maybe there's two actually. One, your parents were in that cult. Maybe they founded that cult, so you didn't have a choice. Like from literally the moment you were born, you were kind of like indoctrinated in the ways of that cult. Or maybe you're like a really vulnerable person. You're in quite a, you need like a community around you. Like they found you in a difficult spot in life and they gave you, that comfort feeling, I suppose. Those are the only two kind of exceptions to why you would want to be a part of these organizations.
He intended to teach each and every one of them to be exactly what he wanted them to be.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 10 disturbing cults you never want to meet. For this list, we're looking at bizarre cults that are somehow currently active. There are inactive cults that are far more sinister, such as Jonestown, but we'll save those for a different list.
You would be sworn in as a member, and you would also swear not to reveal any of the goings-ons inside this group.
Which of these do you find the strangest? Let us know in the comments below. The Rajneesh movement. Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, a controversial philosophy scholar and professor, founded his movement in the late 1960s, early 70s. He dismissed established religions and instead focused on free thought, meditation, and sexual freedom.
Now there are two ways. Either repress sex as it has been done by all the so-called religious traditions of the world, or transform it. I am for transformation.
He also had a marked interest in communist literature, which influenced his teachings. He moved his facility to Oregon in the early 1980s after attracting too much controversy in India, yet found the same hostilities in the States. In order to gain political influence, the movement committed crimes such as mass local salmonella poisoning and an attempted assassination of a U.S. attorney. He was then deported, and the movement's commune was re-established in India in 1985. Rajneesh died in 1990, but the movement, now called Osho, is still very much active.
What's going to happen to your holy man?
Bhagwan had always told me that when things get too difficult for him, he will sit in his chair, take an injection, and disappear.
The Order of the Solar Temple.
You know what, like, apart from the salmonella poisoning and the other thing that was mentioned, this is the thing, if the cults aren't doing anything illegal, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge them? But, that kind of transformational thing he was talking about, like, it's weird, isn't it? It's a little bit weird.
The order attracted many successful upper-middle-class people, disillusioned with conventional churches, yet hungry for spiritual experiences.
The Order of the Solar Temple, or International Order of Chivalry Solar Tradition, was founded in Geneva in 1984. The order took its influence from the Knights Templar, which had been reformed into several factions in 1805. In its heyday, the order had a presiding council, as well as multiple lodges around the world, in which they would perform initiation rites and ceremonies.
Only the elite, who had passed all the initiations, from novice to knight, were treated to the secrets of the inner sanctum. Here, they were privy to startling revelations.
The order believed that an apocalyptic event would occur sometime in the mid-90s, and that in order to survive, they had to achieve a higher plane of existence. In the mid-90s, over 70 of its members were murdered or took their own lives.
Investigators say the cult was obsessed with death and considered it an illusion. Experts say cult leaders told their followers that fire would lead them to a new world on another planet.
With more to follow. Despite this, the group is still thought to have between 140 and 500 active members. Raelism.
The Raelians, now 30,000 strong worldwide, believe that space beings created humans through genetic experimentation.
This sounds a lot like Scientology. They both have that alien aspect to them.
Its classification as a cult is sometimes debated. Realism was, or is still, at some point in the cult category. It's essentially what's called a UFO religion, and was founded in France by Claude Vorilhon in 1974.
It's not only the scientific aspect of creating life, but also the political, religious belief, sociology, everything is. We are entering a new world which is completely different. But there is no reason to...
A better world?
A much better world.
They believed that an alien race known as Elohim created humans. The Elohim have been mistaken for gods historically, and any prophetic figure such as Jesus or Muhammad was created by them. Vorilhon, known as Rael, is the 40th and final prophet. Followers believe that the world is in an age of apocalypse, and that new technologies must be developed, after which time the Elohim will return to Earth and share their extraterrestrial knowledge with us. Current Raelian members were counted at around 18,000 in 2017.
The Rael movement has two goals.
18,000?
One is to spread the message, and two, to build the embassy.
Aleph.
Inside...
I think deep down, these cults appeal to the sense of belonging, you know. It gives people like a club, like, you know, a family in a way. I just, because logically, but then who, you know, he could be right. You know, who, I don't know if the Elohim is fake or not, but, you know, part of my brain is like, come on, man, you know this isn't real. But I guess if you're lonely, you know, I can see how they would like get you.
Members were undergoing survival training. Chemicals and drugs were used to raise, then remove states of anxiety.
Aum Shinrikyo, or more recently Aleph, was founded in Japan in 1987 by Chizuo Matsumoto, later known as Shoko Asahara. It's a doomsday cult, and its beliefs combine aspects of Indian and Tibetan Buddhism, Hinduism, Christian millenarianism, yogic practices, and the prophecies of Nostradamus.
The religion is a blend of yoga and mysticism, with bits of Buddhist, Hindu, and Christian teachings thrown in. His catchiest sales point, though, was a claim to levitation.
It started off fairly tame, but eventually the cult became criminal, with accusations of extortion, murder, and forced membership, among other things. They performed a number of attacks. At some point, the group began to manufacture sarin gas and were responsible for the attack on the Tokyo subway in 1995, which left upwards of 1,000 injured. A number of the more prominent members were executed in 2018, but there were still indications of active membership as of 2019.
About 20 members live here, an austere lifestyle driven by the desire to spread the Master's teachings.
Hello, everyone. This is Shoko Asahara.
12 tribes.
If you're not in, you're out.
Why did they attack the subway station? Like, was it in response to members of their cult being prosecuted? Like, why? Why?
If you're not with me, you're against me. If you want to have a strong identity, create a strong enemy, and then you really know who you are.
Founded in Tennessee during the evangelical Jesus movement of the 1970s, the 12 tribes might seem like a simple, wholesome community on the surface. It aspires to recreate the original Christian church, as depicted in the Book of Acts. However, it allegedly exerts authoritarian control over its followers' lives and promotes strict corporal punishment, reportedly by parents and non-parents alike, which has led to accusations of child abuse.
Tessa remembers being sent out to work on her own when she was just 5 years old.
Sometimes working in kitchens, like preparing food for the whole rest of the community, or in like candle factories. So I remember being like 4 or 5 years old working with this boiling wax.
Once followers reach a certain level, they're allegedly instructed that Jews are cursed for murdering Jesus, that gay people should be put to death, and that black people are naturally servants to whites. The group has often flown under the radar, but there's a lot more going on beneath the smiling and folk dancing.
They control your logic and your thinking, and they control your money.
Happy Science.
So Happy Science have so many teachings that you can learn about them. So that is a lot of wisdom you got learn.
Founded in 1986 by former businessman Ryuho Okawa, Happy Science focuses on a fourfold path to happiness. Members of the group attend seminars and training in order to climb the group ladder. They worship El Contari, a being that is said to have been born over 300 million years ago on Earth and reincarnated through time until its current incarnation, which is, of course, Okawa himself.
Ryuo Okawa. This guy's the supreme god of Earth, more powerful than Jesus, Allah, and Moses combined.
さらに私は、ブッダも魂の兄弟の一人で、ブッダも地上に送り込んだ。2500年前に送った。
The problem with this one comes in the form of major uncredited claims. For example, that the organization can cure the pandemic with, quote, spiritual vaccines. Okawa's own son has left the group and subsequently denounced his father's actions. Happy Science claims to have 11 million followers. However, a former member has said it's more like 30,000.
There are membership fees, there are donations for prayers, for blessings. Members may kind of rise in status based on donation to Okawa and his larger project.
The fundamentalist church of...
You know what? It's interesting because if enough people continue believing or maintain their membership in these cults for another 1,000 years, 2,000 years, like Christianity, how old is that as a religion? I think it's about 2,000 years old. Islam, around the same. If give it enough time, and you've got a mainstream religion. So this is the thing, religions can, if given enough time, they will become, foundational.
Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Every aspect of this family's life, who they marry, what they wear, even what they eat, is controlled by the man they call their prophet, Warren Jeffs.
The LDS Church spawned some fundamentalist sects when the core religion opted to renounce the practice of polygamy. Those who wished to continue the practice branched off, remaining Mormon but on their own terms. Polygamy remains illegal, however, and in 1953, an entire FLDS community was arrested in Short Creek, Arizona, modern-day Colorado City, and most had their children taken away from them.
Wow. We were taught from birth that in order to get what they called the highest degree of the celestial kingdom, you had to have at least 3 wives while you lived on earth. And if you did not, you could not reach that highest degree.
A compound in Texas was raided in 2008 after Child Protective Services was made aware of allegations of abuse. Over 400 children were taken from the compound and placed in CPS custody.
We felt like the children out there on the property were in danger, and that's when it became a very large operation.
Leader of FLDS, Warren Jeffs, remains in his position, despite being in prison for life after acts against minors. The sect currently has between 6,000 and 10,000 followers. Superior Universal Alliance.
So he's still the top dog in that, cult/religion, whatever you want to call it, despite being in prison. This is the thing, if people believe it enough, there's nothing you can tell them. Nothing you can tell them will shake that, will affect their belief. Like, if they really, really, really in their core believe what they're doing is the right thing.
The second UFO cult on this list, Superior Universal Alignment, or Lineamiento Universal Superior, was founded by Valentina Giandraghi in 1981. She claimed to have received messages from extraterrestrials warning her of destruction. If, however, she shared their warnings with others, she and her followers would be saved. Similar to the Raelians, Sua believes that Jesus was actually an extraterrestrial messenger. They also believe that males born after 1981 are evil, and that their lives should end as payment to the superior beings. Between 1981 and 1993, 19 Brazilian boys disappeared, were mutilated, and left to die in the woods. The guilty cult members were sentenced, but Giandraghi was acquitted. The cult is still active and has been run.
Why was she acquitted? I'm sorry, whoever was on the jury that decided that case should be investigated for possible collusion with her, because why would she be acquitted? She's the leader.
Website since 2009. the Family International.
Berg preached to the hippie generation about Jesus and recruited them to join him in his all-consuming drive to save souls.
The Children of God, more recently the Family International, was founded in 1968 by David Berg and was immediately subject to controversy as it used sex to lure potential members, which was Berg's own invention, which he called flirty fishing. They established colonies worldwide, as many as 130 in 70 countries. The Family International draw their beliefs from the Bible, yet with a heavy emphasis on loving Jesus, which is done through sexual interaction. Over time, there have been a large number of child mistreatment allegations raised against them.
I'm sorry, I think a lot of these cults are just, methods for these for predators essentially to fulfill their disgusting desires. There's a theme in a lot of these that have been mentioned, isn't there? Basically, according to the rules, we have to have sex. It's just the way, you know what I mean? Like, they're just using it as an excuse.
Reportedly, keeping children is a cult policy. While longing for her 4 lost children, Vivian lived here in this small apartment in Sioux Falls, disoriented, unable to hold a job, and subsisting on welfare.
Celebrities such as River and Joaquin Phoenix, as well as Rose McGowan, were partially raised in this group before finding their way out. TFI is still active, albeit as an online community, boasting 1,450 members.
We were trafficked, we were moved constantly, we were never taught anybody's names. So it's very difficult to learn your abusers' names.
You think that was by design?
Oh, absolutely.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. NXIVM.
To understand NXIVM, NXIVM, is the umbrella company.
Founded in 1998 by Keith Raniere and Nancy Salzman, NXIVM started out as a self-help group which offered classes called Executive Success Programs. In 2017, former members urged authorities to investigate, initially for a subgroup within NXIVM called The Vow. It was a group of women branded with Raniere's initials and on a rotation to have relations with the founder and recruit members.
You think the person who's being branded should be completely nude and sort of held to the table like a...
Yeah, Alison Mack. She was from Smallville. She was a member of this, wasn't she?
Almost like a sacrifice. I don't know if that's a feeling of submission.
In a sort of exceedingly complex relationship scheme. On top of this, in 2018, charges were brought against Raniere and 5 female members for a number of crimes, including extortion, sex trafficking, and the list goes on. Raniere got 120 years in prison. As of 2020, a number of groups branched from NXIVM are said to be active and recruiting.
We didn't even know that we were being experimented on.
120
we thought we were just kind
years.
Of learning and growing, but really they were observing and watching how we responded to the lack of sleep, how we responded to lack of food, how all of these things affected our psyche, and we were very weak. We were weak mentally and we were weak physically.
Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo and be sure to subscribe.
Wow, I think these kind of groups or organizations must attract a certain kind of person. I think if you're one of those people that's quite highly analytical, critical, logical, why would you? But then again, if enough people, like if enough of your friends for a long enough period of time, like slowly introduce you to their ideas, bring you to their events, it is possible for you to slowly be indoctrinated in some of these beliefs. The top comment, the fact that Scientology isn't on this list shows you how powerful that cult is. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.